Well, you've got to admit that this NBA season has been something else, right? Our favorite NBA analyst is back to making headlines with some of his recent statements. Apparently, the guy touched on the Kobe Bryant subject recently, and we're here to unpack the whole thing. We all knew of the infamous feud between Charles and Kobe, but let's find out exactly what went down. So let's go. First off, let's talk about Charles Barkley and Kobe Bryant. It's no secret that our boys Kobe Bryant and Charles Barkley didn't exactly see eye to eye on things, and Barkley recently revealed where their first argument came from. The late Los Angeles Lakers star Kobe Bryant was widely regarded as the NBA's most competitive player, and his reputation preceded him for the entire span of his career, and rightfully so. The man was a legend, but you also can't get to the top of the ladder without ruffling up a few feathers along the way, now can you? And that's exactly what went down with our guy Bryant. He developed enemies along the road due to his borderline compulsive obsession with being the best, and the former Phoenix Suns legend Charles Barkley recalls the day when he crossed over to Kobe's bad side. The two NBA Titans had a run-in after the Lakers' 2006 Game 7 playoff loss to the Suns. Up next, let's rewind a little. To put things in perspective, we all know that Kobe was never that invested in making friends. So when the purple and gold were up 3-2 in the series going into Game 6, Bryant had scored 50 points on 20 of 35 field goal attempts. But despite his insane contributions to the game, the veteran received pretty harsh criticism in the days that followed. Apparently, the Lakers' shooting was heavily accused of being selfish on the court, and the sports media questioned his willingness to involve other team members or let others share in on the glory. And judging from what followed, the guy took the commentary to heart, because when the time came for Game 7, which was basically a go big or go home situation, quite literally, Bryant bizarrely reacted by outright refusing to shoot the ball. Yep, the man said, "Fine, I just won't contribute, and the team can take it from here." That must take some guts, because boy oh boy, what a stressful situation that must have been. It wasn't until the second half that he scored 24 points overall, but he only attempted 3 shots after the break. What does any of that have to do with Charles? Well, we're getting to that. Following up on, how does that relate to Charles Barkley? When talking about the whole incident, Barkley didn't bother toning it down, but then again, that's Charles for you. He referenced the game we just talked about and stated that what Kobe Bryant did was absolute BS. Apparently, after the game, the two NBA greats had a sparring of words, or so to say. Yep, the Hall of Famer recently disclosed that he and Bryant engaged in a little back and forth till late that night after the game. Barkley was among many NBA figures who criticized Kobe Bryant's play following the game. Barkley talked about the game by calling it the night against the Suns one year when Kobe refused to shoot the ball. And honestly, that's a pretty good summary of the whole thing. But Charles added to his statement by sharing that they're all Kobe Bryant fans, but what he did tonight was just complete BS. And that's exactly what he told him after the game. According to Barkley, Kobe refused to shoot the ball in an effort to let the world know that he didn't have or didn't need help, and the entire move was very harsh. In a way, what Sir Charles is saying is correct, but then again, perhaps the Lakers player just needed to prove himself. Either way, let's find out what went down next. Coming up, all's well that ends well. After the game, the Black Mamba started messaging the Suns player, and according to Charles, he called him every name in the book, and the whole thing continued for almost 3 hours. Yikes, talk about a temper. But the two didn't continue on bad terms, at least after the duration of a year. Barkley claimed that Kobe acknowledged his error when he and Bryant reconnected a year after the initial page had gone down. Nothing like time to allow anger to simmer down, right? And you know what? We love that. In hindsight, the fact that Bryant and Barkley, two pillars of the NBA, were able to patch things up after such a tense discourse is a wonderful thing. That also leads to a somewhat probable theory. Perhaps the Black Mamba actually incorporated some of Barkley's advice, because during his later championship victories, the man gradually began to show more faith in his teammates. In fact, Bryant led the Lakers to back-to-back championships in 2009 and 2010 after their postseason meltdown, and during these successful seasons, it was very clear how much Kobe relied on teammates like Pau Gasol and Derek Fisher to help him reach the finish line. So basically, constructive criticism for the win. Up next, let's talk about the Lakers for a bit. Charles Barkley took it upon himself to criticize the NBA and the extended sports media networks for their excessively thorough coverage of the Los Angeles Lakers. The man doesn't exactly hold back. The round mound of rebound has always been charismatic, admired, and brutal. The key word here is brutal, of course. He's always been one to express his opinions as he wishes. He's one of your calls it as he sees it kind of guys, isn't he? Well, that's exactly how he was criticizing the NBA, television networks, and shows for continuing to talk about the Lakers, considering the team was consistently proving to be a bottom-of-the-league team during halftime of LA's eventual overtime loss to the Boston Celtics. And now Charles Barkley Barkley has had enough of the Lakers being constantly in the news. Now, Sir Charles called the whole thing a conspiracy. Yeah, the man said yes, the Lakers are awful, but all these individuals sitting on the television day in and day out are all in on a big conspiracy. So why is this a conspiracy? According to the Chuckster, the clowns keep talking about the Los Angeles Lakers without mentioning any other teams. He referenced the Washington Wizards and questioned why they were never brought up. So that got us thinking, are other teams bamboozled like the Lakers? Sports fans all over social media agree with every word. After his clips reached the internet, Twitter was swarmed with tweets saying, "No lies detected," and he speaks for all of us. And each one had one big hoot. The magic of the NBA, right? Some viewers also noticed that Sir Charles doesn't particularly enjoy seeing the Lakers on national TV, but that's a conversation for another day. Coming up, what exactly did he say? As one of the top teams in the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers have long been the team of the stars and a staple segment for sports channels. And with LeBron James joining them has only raised the group's social standing. But all NBA viewers know that their favorite LA team isn't really living up to its name right now, although they still continue to receive the same amount of attention. So most Lakers games feature a harsh critique from the TNT pundit. When asked to summarize the first half of the Lakers against the Boston Celtics some time back, Charles Barkley shared that sports critics all over are acting like the Lakers are going to be good all the time, which is simply not true. And according to Barkley, it's the NBA who's behind the entire conspiracy. What do you guys think? Next, we've all seen this happen before too. Believe it or not, it's true that Barkley's criticism is nothing new. For instance, after the infamous defeat of the Lakers by the Clippers in 2019, Pat Bev voiced out that TV shows frequently aired James' defeat highlights without turning their cameras on the other end. In the end, Patrick Beverley also added a friendly suggestion for the media to go over some facts of the game instead of simply running the highlights of one of the top players. Sound advice if you ask us, but what do you guys think? Now, media coverage aside, there's no denying that the Lakers are simply one of the league's most popular teams, but also host some of the most brilliant players we've ever seen. So whether they are doing good or not, they remain the talk of the town either way. Lastly, let's see what LeBron James has to say. Even if he claims not to be, LeBron James appears pretty upset with the Lakers in anticipation of the trade deadline. And can you blame him? The man is clearly irritated despite his efforts to deny it. The whole thing became apparent when the 38-year-old player made certain remarks to The Athletic regarding the direction the Lakers seemed to be heading. But what did he say? LeBron James discussed the destiny of the Lakers organization as his career draws to a close with Sam Amick of The Athletic on Saturday night following his Lakers 136-134 victory over the Sacramento Kings. They talked about James might need some assistance and the Lakers must make some difficult choices with the trade deadline being just a month away. On Saturday night, he briefly discussed with Amick how the Lakers front office handles the roster and his participation in the discussions as he also gets ready to leave. The man initially stated that he was only concerned with playing and doing well, but the mask soon came off. LeBron James ended up yelling at Amick before leaving and saying that he doesn't have to say anything because y'all know what the F should be happening. Whoops, we all know what that means, right? Then later on Sunday afternoon, he took to Twitter and retracted the tone of that statement. But from the looks of it, the damage is already done. What do you guys think? That's a wrap. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Charles' statements. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.
Tuck my shirt out, shut
That Kobe Bryant look going.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's up?
He's hilarious.